Here yet, but I'm sorry, my friend, you're going to have to deal with it. Yeah, at least our commute in tomorrow is actually looking pretty good, and I actually think most of the morning drive isn't looking too bad either. We should get through the brunt, or the bulk of it, I should say, before the brunt of the storm gets here, and it'll be working its way in from south to north. Very minor tweaks since we were on the air earlier this morning on Eyewitness News this morning. Let's get to all of it, starting off with a very wide zoom on storm scan. The system in question is starting to show at least a little more organization at this point, but it's still not all that impressive. Right? This will become so, certainly. So give it some time. The later in time we get, the more impressive it will be, the more potent it will be, the more moisture it's going to have to work with as it's drawing that in. But I do want to jump you into tomorrow and walk you through all of these different impacts. So here we go. The main difference that I've seen just in the last couple of hours here is that this could arrive, which would be a good thing for the morning drive. You know, if this isn't just barely starting to lift in by 9 in the morning, we've gotten through a morning rush, so that's a good thing. However, this may still be stuck with us, you know, for the rest of the day. In fact, we're expecting that it'll be stuck with us for the rest of the day. You'll be dealing with a brief period of snow initially in the southeastmost counties. That'll quickly change over to rain, but then also that snow further off to the north. Now, what you notice happening here more than anything is how that transition is taking place. Lots of moisture to draw upon. So once this all turns over to rain, that rain is a big story. It will be pounding down through the late day and into the overnight, a little break along the way, but it'll pick right back up again into the early morning hours. Back edge of this does have snow, but that should not impact our area. It should get lifted out of here before that would be a concern. But let's talk about some of the other impacts besides the rain and the snow, and that comes in the form of ice. North and western counties, remember, it does not take much. A thin glaze is all you'd need for there to be major travel problems. So it's a good thing PennDOT can get out as early as they are and treat the roads before this starts up. But it'll likely start off as snow further north and west, and then you see that transition to icing later in the day before a cold rain would take over. Region by region, getting a little bit more nitty-gritty here. You will start off as potentially some snowflakes and maybe some icing down in these southeastmost counties, but there's going to be a pretty quick change over to rain. You've got that influence from the ocean and also milder air nudging north. In the city, along and adjacent to I-95, I'm expecting you're going to see maybe a coating to an inch or two max before you would start to see this change over, and eventually some rain works its way in, say 4 or 5 p.m. or so. And then an accumulating snow is expected in the north and western counties, generally 1 to 3 inches for this zone. But locally in the highest terrain, it could be a little more than that if that snow hangs on a little bit longer. Here's just a snapshot of the projections for future rain amounts. So this goes all the way through the event into the late morning hours of Friday. There could be, just with the rain, 1 to locally 1.5 inches or so of rain on top of the snow and the ice. Can you imagine if this were strictly a snowstorm, what we'd be looking at? It would probably look a lot like this, actually. Here outside at the Poconos at Jack Frost Big Boulder, they've been making snow for a couple of days now, just trying to get a jump start on the season. Understandably, this is one of the earliest times I feel like I've seen them start to make their own snow, but they've got the cold. They're going to roll with it, right? Here's a look at the current temperatures, though. It's definitely breezy outside, and it's made to feel a lot colder anytime that wind does blow, but you're down in the low 40s, and that's harsh enough. We would normally be in the mid 50s, not even coming close to that today nor tomorrow, and you're held back to just 28 right now up in the Poconos. So that equates to about a 5 to 10 degree deficit or so. The cold air absolutely setting the stage for this storm to get in here tomorrow, again late in the morning, and then you're stuck with it for the rest of the day. As soon as you see that precip, it's stuck with you all day. Tonight, we still have that calm to enjoy. We dip down to 31 degrees through the overnight hours, and then a look ahead at the 7-day forecast. Unfortunately, you're not looking at even one day that's actually seasonable, guys, but at least a look ahead does show a modest increase on the thermometer, and more than anything, quieter conditions, and that coincides nicely for the upcoming weekend. So if you're going to the Temple game, for example, or to do anything else, at least you'll have some sun, but you are still going to need to have your winter gear handy.
Okay.
Tomorrow should be interesting. The games begin.
We'll see. Thank you, Katie.